Hi folks, I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics. Today I want to show you a new item I have for the shop here. You have seen in my other videos that I have reviewed the Black & Decker Matrix drill system, which in short allows you to have various attachments that simply clip right onto the drill or replace it, or pop right off and replace it for another. This is a hammer drill attachment. This is a circular saw attachment, which I find very handy. This is just the standard drill driver with the adjustable clutch on it. But I received in the mail yesterday, popped it open, an item that I've never seen before. So let's unbox it together and see the High Volume Inflator attachment that clips right on to the Matrix system. What you have here, being the bald guy, I can't show you how this blows my hair, but what you have is a high volume inflator that has, I've got two nozzles on this side and a large nozzle on that side. It has a couple of functions that are really neat. Number one, you get quite the, here's a piece of paper, quite the volume of airflow with this thing. That's not the best illustration to be giving you, but it really works. This thing has an incredible outflow on it, and then you can, with this, it has a neat attachment on the side to actually hold your nozzles. So you've got nozzles that will fit various things. Now, one of the reasons I wanted this, one of the reasons is because I've got grandchildren. My granddaughter is a little over a year old. My grandson is about to turn 6. And we don't have a backyard pool, but sometimes when they visit in the summer, it's nice to have a pool. So the wife bought one of those inflatable pools that has multiple rings that inflate, and each of the rings has to be inflated separately. And I have an electric air compressor, and I can run a hose up to the back deck, and I actually have enough hose to do that, but it's kind of a drag. This thing, though, is a nice option because I can take it anywhere. The second thing about this, it's not only an inflator, it's a deflator. And this one's a little more accessible. I can take my nozzles, which have a nice little notch here to fit in. And this one's just simply for a bigger orifice, but I also can put the nozzle on the intake. And by doing that, now I can hook this or the other nozzles up. I can hook it up to an inflatable device, swimming pool floats, those kind of things. But especially that pool, which is, I don't know, it's 4 feet across or so. It's not huge, but it's a lot of air. And you know how infuriating it can be to try to deflate something like that when you're through to put it up for the next visit. You simply put this thing in here, and the air that it forces out here has to come in somewhere. Hook this up to your float, and it will suck the air right out of it, which I can't do with my compressor. So that is a major advantage of this little thing, and I'm really pleased with the amount of airflow. Now, for a decent illustration, I could have gotten the pool out and inflated it for you. Well, let me explain why we're not going to do that. A couple of days ago it snowed, and I've got an inch and a half of snow and sleet on the ground. But this morning it was 12 degrees, and I know the rest of the country is cold too. I'm not saying we're colder than everybody else. But I am saying I am not dragging that pool outside to inflate it, and I really don't have the space to want to film it, that being done in here. There is a second thing that I wanted this thing for specifically, and you may have saw my videos from the recently posted, where I did some repair on a gun stock, and then I did some cleaning up on the gun barrel itself. And I've done some other things. In the polishing of the gun stock that I did, I filmed yesterday here, my time, for that Ruger 1022, and I told you it's too short. I began the process of building myself a leather buttstock extension. And there are little bits of particulate when I cut this leather. I get a little particulate, and this is why I wanted the thing. Now, obviously, I didn't have a lot of particulate here. You know why? Because I've already tried it out. But I am amazed, and the toolbox I'm sitting at today sits in my basement. I bring firewood in and out of the basement. The door is over here to my left, which means when I'm bringing wheelbarrow in and out, it's easy to get trash in here. And most of the place is pretty easy to clean up, but especially when I've done a project, and I've got some wood projects I've done over here, so there's sawdust. This thing makes a really neat blower. This toolbox, I can sweep around it, but I can't really sweep under it effectively. I simply take this thing down here, and it's got enough volume of air to push trash well out the other side. Upstairs in our house, vacuuming under some of the furniture can become an issue. My wife can't pick up the furniture with one hand, running a vacuum with the other, because her back simply won't allow it. So yeah, I get the call. And we men, we love to run things like the vacuum cleaner. And sometimes she'll ask, hey, did you clean under the cushions, or did you clean behind the thing? It's great to have a blower into areas you can't reach, and you can push the dust bunnies and whatever else happens to be under there. Or in the case, we've got a little house dog. You've heard him a couple of times carry on. And he will take his toys, put them in his mouth, and throw them. And often enough, they roll right under there. Some of them I can actually blow out with this little thing. So let me get my paper here. It's not, oh, it's here. This Black & Decker matrix attachment is called the High Volume Inflator. I got this with my the points on my Amazon card. So you pay your credit card, and they say, well, here, there's so much free money you can spend. So that's how I got this. So I didn't pay a dime for it. However, the list price at present time, this is January of 2024, by the way, the list price right now is $24.95, and I have a Prime account, so free shipping. And I am well pleased with this. If I had not had the points to get it for free, I would not have minded spending the $24.95 or $24.99, whichever it happened to be, to add this attachment to my collection of attachments. There are a lot of other attachments that go with this. They actually have like a little tire inflator, a compressor that you could put with your car. I'm not interested in that. There is a jigsaw attachment. There is a sawzall attachment. I have a sawzall. I have a jigsaw. So for me, those were not really necessary. And this little, I don't know, this thing is 2.5 inches, something like that. This circular saw attachment, I find to be as versatile a cutting tool as I really want. I can cut 2x4s with it, although I have to cut the last, I don't know, 1/4 inch from the back side. So I have to make a cut from both sides. But I built a lawnmower shed on the side of my lawnmower building a few years ago, and ended up having to climb up, and gosh, I'm 120 feet down the hill from the nearest outlet. I never had to string a power cord down there because I could use my matrix drill attachment. It was easier to climb up with it. It's easier to handle not having the cord behind me. So I have found the matrix to be a very beneficial tool for me to have around. It is my go-to. It's a 20-volt lithium battery, which means it holds a charge forever. I've got some DeWalt batteries that are the NiCad batteries for DeWalt tools. And I'll tell you, they're high-quality tools, but especially over time, they don't hold the battery charge. I've replaced the batteries, and even the replacement batteries, I don't find nearly as satisfactory as the lithium. I also have the Black & Decker 20-volt Sawzall cordless. So now and it came with a battery. So now I've got two batteries that fit both of mine. So a really handy tool. The matrix drill, I have not looked recently. The last time I looked, you're looking at somewhere around $70 plus or minus, just to buy the drill with the battery. And I when I found these things, and I've had this one, let me think. I think I've had this thing about, I guess, going on 10 years. And still super pleased with it. I took it with me. My mom has a large storage building. I guess I did this right after my father passed away. Dad had built a ramp for his riding lawnmower to go up. And the ramp over the years had weathered and it was starting to sag. And to the point where I didn't want that garden tractor coming in and out of there. Had a big wheel horse lawn tractor, so it was pretty heavy. And I used to work at a place that sold utility sheds, and one of the accessories we had was the ramp. So I brought the pieces of the ramp. It came as a kit, and you just screwed it together. And this bad boy running 2.5-inch screws worked for most of the ramp. And I mean, I didn't even charge it beforehand, so it was really handy to have. Having the second battery is certainly of benefit. But if you go online and you look up on eBay or on Amazon and just look up matrix drill attachment, it will show you the full line. There's a kit that I saw that has the drill, and I don't know if it had all the attachments. It's also got, what do you call those little, the thing that has a flat blade that reciprocates back and forth. I can't think of what you call that thing. I've never had a need for that, but they've got an attachment for that. I mean, they must be about 15 or more attachments. And in this kit, which was a little over $300, it had a carry case, the drill, the battery, and 12 or 15 attachments, which covered just about any use you could have. I find this to be one of the most innovative cordless tools on the market. So I've done other reviews. Today we're talking about the inflator, and I literally bought it for cleanup. I have a 3-gallon, I think, tank over here, 3 or 5 gallons. It's a small tank. It's a Harbor Freight air compressor, and the thing works great. I've got a 30 or 50 foot, probably a 50-foot air hose on a reel. It works great, but it's also a little aggravating because it's not a large reservoir for the tank. Anytime I'm using it, the compressor itself, which is pretty noisy, cuts on and off a lot. The unit is on now, but I have a valve where I cut off the air. It cuts away all of my leaks, so I keep a full charge, and I just open up the valve, and it charges my hose. However, with the quick connects I use, every one of them are going to leak a little air. So even when I'm not using it, that thing, and you can't hear anything. In fact, when I was making the video for dressing up the stock on that Ruger that I showed the other day, I had forgotten that the thing was on and my valve was open right in the middle of it. It cuts on, and I had to edit that part out of the video, but that's just part of it. This is a tool that really is handy, and I love how easy. There's no, you don't have to learn, 3 different hand motions to lock this thing in. There's a groove where it fits here. Pops in that easy. There's a release button on top, and it pops out. No complicated maneuvers at all. I love the fact that you have your storage for your nozzles built into the thing, and they clip in very securely. They're not coming out. And I think it's a neat little tool. So if you have the matrix system, and you have a shop that needs cleaning up, or if you have inflatables that, if you've never blown up an inflatable with your mouth and your lungs, that's a high you just don't get any other way. So it's a very handy item for me to have. And again, I really do appreciate the lithium batteries, because I plug this thing in very rarely. I use it for a lot of jobs. There's a lot of diversity here. The impact hammer, by the way, I told you that putting those decking screws on the ramp, and then we rebuilt a deck out here and a set of steps out front. The drill attachment, you're going to work it pretty hard, but this hammer drill attachment, I am here to tell you, it will drive. I've got screws up to 3 inches long, and it's never failed to drive any of those. So those are great attachments to have with these. I started to tell you a few minutes ago, when I went to buy mine, I had found out about the Matrix, and they really pushed it in marketing for a year or two, and that caught my attention. For whatever reason, the marketing, I never see this thing promoted anymore. But when I saw it at first, a lot of these things were $99.95 new on the shelf, even online. So I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked. I did a lot of checking on eBay, because you'll find people that resell an item. But I actually found a new one for about, it's been a long time, probably about $45 to $49. And I couldn't be happier with the results of it. So if you are into a multiverse type tool, the Matrix is a wonderful one. And this, I don't know if this has been on the market, the High Volume Inflator, for a long time, but I only saw it around Christmas, and it was after Christmas that I had this extra money on my account, hit the button, and it just came in, and I am super pleased with it. If it throws me a curve down the road, I'll make a video update a little bit later. But the Matrix drill with the attachments is a tool that I highly recommend, and I have to remind you, I don't get anything from Black & Decker, but I think they will do well to continue to market this thing, and to even have some more innovation with the tools that they're able to work so well. It has a router attachment available too. Again, I don't do a lot of routing, so no need for me to have one. But that's it for today. I'm the Bald Guy. Remember to leave us a like, to subscribe to the channel. If you'll hit the notification button, you'll know when a new video comes online, and we'll see you on the next review.